Greetings. I'm Dr. Halifu Osumare, former dancer, choreographer, cultural activist, and a protege of Katherine Dunham. It is my honor to be a part of this global celebration of her 115th birthday. And I'd like to share with you some of my experiences with Ms. Dunham. And I'll be reading from my latest memoir, Dancing the Afro Future, Hula, Hip Hop, and the Dunham Legacy. I'll be reading from page 91, where I'm talking about my beginning of my certification in Dunham technique and a special project that I did for Ms. Dunham in East St. Louis in 2001. So here's an excerpt from Dancing the Afro Future. My experience with the Katherine Dunham dance legacy reached a crescendo in July of 2001, when I went to the annual Dunham seminar in East St. Louis and became an officially certified Dunham instructor. Ms. Dunham had asked Alberta Rose, my friend whom she had appointed the director of certification, to inform me that she wanted me to become a certified instructor. I had avoided taking on that status because it meant becoming involved with the inevitable politics within East St. Louis Dunham scene. After producing the 1989 Dunham Stanford residency and the 1994 Dunham Hawaii residency that I did along with Cleo Parker Robinson, my dedication to Ms. Dunham and her legacy was apparent, and I felt that I did not need the outward validation of certification. But when I heard Ms. Dunham say she wanted to sign my certificate, I knew it was my personal call from her, from the master. I had already written the required Dunham History Theory essay exam and sent a videotape of my teaching while I was still living in Hawaii. But the certification committee Alberta had formed asked that as my final requirement, I teach a class on site during that seminar for observation. Ms. Dunham, at 92 years old, was in rare form at that 2001 Dunham Technique seminar. She taught her master classes each week, demonstrating to the drummers what she wanted rhythmically and giving us continual pearls of wisdom. Quote, "Honesty in motion is what we're after." Quote, "Always use the energy of the drums, even when you're standing waiting to go across the floor." Quote, "Feel the reason to change a movement in your choreography." And the unforgettable adage that she gave us: "We have more access to the danger around us, but less protection. Knowledge of self is your only protection." End quote. These gems of dance and human insight were part of the incomparable Dunham experience, and I was proud to become a certified carrier of her holistic approach to the art of dance and living, Dunham technique as a way of life. While I was in St. Louis that year, Ms. Dunham insisted I teach and perform hula as my newly acquired dance form from my 7 years of living in Hawaii and dancing with Kumuhula Ehulani Stephanie's halau. During the master class, she coaxed me to the front to teach a few of the basic steps of hula to students attending from all over the country and from abroad. She was demonstrating through me that Dunham Technique's foundation is an anthropological approach to dance, and the Dunham dancer must avail herself to all available dance cultures. At the closing seminar showcase, I performed Ke Ha'alapuna, my favorite Pele dance with my uli uli rattle. I was dressed in full regalia from my hula uniki, or graduation, and as I was performing the sacred hula, kahiko, for the East St. Louis packed auditorium, I felt I was carrying on the tradition of one of Ms. Dunham's central theories, intercultural communication. I was embodying Hawaiian culture, showing its deep reverence for its powerful volcano goddess, and as I bowed after the performance, I noticed Ms. Dunham's wry smile. I knew I was truly dancing the Dunham legacy. Now, after the 2001 seminar, Ms. Dunham had Janelle Stovall, her administrative assistant, establish a week-long hula workshop for me at the children's workshop next to the Dunham Museum in East St. Louis. I was hired to offer a 5-day program at the Dunham's Children Workshop. I called it Hawaii's Ecology Through Hula, which fulfilled a national grant that Janelle had obtained. I designed the workshop to focus on dance in relation to the environment. What better dance from form than Hawaiian hula to create a series of classes that merge dance with knowledge about ecology of the local flora and fauna? Janelle had written me during my transition from Hawaii to Ohio, where I was now living, and about conceiving dance classes with an ecological focus. The Los Angeles dance scholar, Catherine Scotty Scott, was also hired as my assistant for that project. Now, the problem was East St. Louis was not Hawaii. The beauty of the land and the islands had inspired so many hulas, and was found in what we found in East St. Louis was trash, debris, neglected fields of poverty-stricken East St. Louis. Teaching the potent relationship between dance and the land was not going to be an easy task there. I saw my Hawaiian Ecology Through Hula workshop as a continuation of the East St. Louis creative experience that Katherine Dunham first established in the late 60s, the Performing Arts Training Center. But the obstacles she faced are still a part of that city. The crumbling Katherine Dunham buildings reflected East St. Louis' surrounding context, except for her important redeeming elements of hope, optimism, and a vision supplied by her dogged tenacity, and, of course, with Janelle Stovall and her small staff. Just as Ms. Dunham's spirit in East St. Louis did, we prevailed, and the hula workshop was a resounding success. The 12 young Black girls, ages 6 through 13, they learned personal discipline and their own personal Black beauty, and the way to find beauty even in their environment. My methodology for success with the children's workshop was emphasizing hula discipline that I had learned in my study of hula. I stressed discipline as the key to accomplishing any goals while emphasizing that one can find beauty in the face of seeming ugliness. The girls learned the ability to tell their story with dance through cooperating with each other while performing each task that I gave them at hand. I showed them that even in the overgrown, junky, abandoned fields where people had thrown trash, there was beauty to be found among the growing volunteer weeds. And we picked those weeds to make their leis for our culminating performance. They were amazed to find this beauty in what they thought was only ugliness, and they began to understand nature in a different kind of way. We had a final performance for their families and community members on the outdoor platform stage behind the Dunham Museum. They danced Na Wili Wili, about a beautiful bay on the Big Island. They wore wrapped Hawaiian cloth, head leis, wrist leis, and they had made all of them themselves, from the excursion into that field of weeds. The children received and appreciated the human qualities that I thought I taught them through hula. They shone like true princesses, like flowers in a field of weeds, hope in the midst of despair. My Hawaiian ecology through hula became another link in the long chain of arts projects generated by Ms. Dunham's philosophy of socialization through the arts. And that's just one of the many things that I gained from my mentorship with Katherine Dunham, one of the great humanitarians and artists of the 20th and 21st century. I wish her all the best as an ancestor, and I know that she is looking down upon all of us. I Bashe Egun, Katherine Dunham.